Hey, what's up guys? Connor Comics here. Now today we have a haul of 3 books. The first book that we have here is Venom by Donny Cates Volume 2. Now this is sort of a double dip because most of it is collected within this omnibus, which I will go into a bit more detail when we show the book. But yeah, this is Venom by Donny Cates Volume 2. And there's the back. And now I'm going to get into a bit of the artwork. So yeah, let's pan down to the art. So yes, now we jump into the artwork of the first book that we have here, which is Venom by Donny Cates, as I showed you on the shelf. And on the back here, as you can see, collecting 16 to 25. Now what I find bizarre about that is the last volume ended off with issue 12. As you can see, here's the first volume, and it finishes off on issue 12. So then 13 and 14 and 15 are missing with this volume. Now we already know where issue 15 is gone because it goes into this volume, which is Absolute Carnage, as you can see by issue 15 there. But then that is a gap because then in here this also collects 16 to 20. So I don't know then what's happened to issue 13 and 14 and when they plan to collect it. But yeah, let's jump into some of the artwork. As I said, mini rant sort of over. So yeah, most of this volume is going to cross over with the Absolute Carnage omnibus, so that's why I also had it, because otherwise if I try and come into it, as you see it's saying previously on Carnage, so previously on Absolute Carnage. As you can see, we have alternate Reed Richards here. So yeah, it's continuing on from the story. So at the end of the last volume, which I find is weird, is why they're missing 2 volumes, is Eddie finds out that he has a son, and then the symbiote sort of leaves him. So that's why I'm then confused in this. When Venom has the symbiote, is it Eddie Brock or is it just the symbiote on its own? And then by the look of it, he does get his own symbiote, which is going to be interesting. Or his own symbiote dog, that's cool. But yeah, SpiderMan in here, so I can't really see much. So there he is, he's back with the symbiote. So I'm confused then why 2 volumes are left out. Like I said, I don't know if they plan to collect it within the 3rd volume that comes out of this. But yeah, as you can see, here's Reed Richards. Then at one point flicking through, here's the Avengers. So you have Ghost Rider, which I find is interesting that they're offering him an Avengers card, saying like literally 3 or 4 or 5 issues ago they were trying to beat the crap out of him. Actually no, that's the Immortal Hulk that I'm thinking of. Scratch that sentence. But yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping into this, continuing on with the Venom saga. I do know that I am going to have to read Absolute Carnage at the same time as this omnibus, or most likely I'll just read like the first volume in here and the last volume that isn't collected in Absolute Carnage. But yeah, a bit of a double dip, but I needed it because obviously if I get volume 3, I don't want it to be on my shelf of volume 1 and then volume 3. But yeah, that is Venom by Donny Cates volume 2. Now the next book that we have, which I am going to mention a bit more when showing the artwork, is Fantastic Four by Fraction. Now this is my first ever Fantastic Four book in my collection, like a physical copy. So yeah, looking forward to jumping into this. There's a bit of the back. And now let's jump into the artwork. Now the next book that I'm going to show you some of the artwork of is Fantastic Four by Fraction. Now this is my first ever Fantastic Four book in my collection. So as you can see, The Thing, Reed Richards, or Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, and not Storm. Sue Storm, yep, Sue Storm. So yeah, and on the back there is a few other characters, so I'm confused why these 4 are in here, but I don't know if that's just part of the Future Foundation. So I do know that other members have joined the Fantastic Four in the past, so the one in the Jonathan Hickman one, for example, was SpiderMan, but that is because the Human Torch died in that run. Now, I do believe that this was the last sort of Fantastic run at the time, and then it went on hiatus for like 11 years, I want to say, because at the time Marvel didn't really want to be promoting the First Family or the Fantastic Four, because at the time they didn't have the rights. So that's why I believe at the time Marvel Studios then just came about. It's like, yeah, I think there was an agreement between Marvel and Marvel Studios just to not do any more Fantastic Four books until the Dan Slott run that came out pretty recently, I believe in like 2018. But yeah, as you can see, we have Ant-Man in here, we seem to have Medusa, we seem to have She-Hulk, so I'm unsure of when these are coming into it, but I'm interested and I'll be curious of the story, and a bit more of the family background in the background. So obviously you have their son Franklin, I believe his name is, and I can't remember what the girl's name is off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm looking forward to diving into this, seeing what the Fantastic Four get up to. By the look of it, there's also a crossover with the Inhumans and the X-Men, because that's Kitty Pryde, I'm pretty sure, and more of Doctor Doom. So yeah, tell me down below if you know anything about this run and if it's any good. But yeah, that is Fantastic Four by Fraction. And finally we have this book, which is Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski. As you can see, there is the spine and there is the back. Now I'm going to show you some of the artwork. And the final book that we have here is The Amazing Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski. As you can see, big old thick and very like rectangular on it. Normally there's like a bit of a curve to it, but this one seems to be very just rectangular or very solid, which I don't know if that's just the way the binding is on this book. But yeah, this book does cross over with the Civil War event and does have the One More Day event. So some of it I've sort of double dipped because I already have it in here, but now I can get rid of this trade and just keep this. But yeah, let's jump into some of the artwork and have a small talk about this run, because I've read the first volume. So in the first volume, it went into very much that the Spider-Man was meant to become Spider-Man. It was sort of his right, because they were going into like spider totems, and it was very a story with Morlun. I believe Morlun is in this. Yeah, speak of the devil, there's Morlun. I enjoyed Morlun. He was a great villain, and then I do know that Dan Slott then used him in his event, the Spider-Verse event. So I'm going to look forward to more battles between them two. There seems to be a couple of crossovers with other characters in here, like the Avengers and Fantastic Four. So yeah, I love a bit of Spider-Man. Spider-Man's one of my favourite characters, and I'm just adding more Spider-Man to my collection and more that I can enjoy. There's a bit of Hydra. But yeah, tell me down below if you've read this volume or if you've read the run, and tell me what your guys' opinion are down below. So yeah, so that is the end of the haul. As you can see, 3 Marvel books. I do have a couple of DC books on the way, so don't worry, it's not all going to be very Marvel heavy. If you are a fan of more DC books, there are a few on the way. But yeah, that is the end of the haul. As you can see, 3 books, 2 omnibuy and 1 oversized hardcover. Hopefully you enjoyed. Tell me what you think of the new style, or if I do want to go back to the old one. I do know that video has been uploaded, but I haven't seen too many comments saying which style they prefer. I would appreciate the feedback. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys in a video. Peace.